Most people who own gold and silver right now have no idea what's actually about to happen to their money. And the scariest part? The people who will get hurt the worst are not the ones who ignored precious metals completely. They're the ones who bought a little, felt safe, and stopped paying attention. If you are interested in money, finance, or changing your financial future, like this video and subscribe right now, because what you're about to learn can change the way you see money forever. Let me introduce you to Tariq. Tariq is a delivery driver in his late 30s. 2 years ago, he started buying a few silver coins every month. Just small amounts, $50 here, $100 there. He felt proud of himself. He felt like he was finally doing something smart with his money instead of just spending it on things that disappear. But last month, Tariq looked at the news, saw silver prices jumping around wildly, and felt something he didn't expect. He felt confused. He felt behind. Because everyone online was talking about numbers and terms he didn't understand, and he realized he had bought the metal, but never actually understood the game being played around it. That confusion is exactly where most gold and silver investors are sitting right now. They bought the asset. They did the safe thing. But they never learned the deeper mechanics of what's coming, and that gap in knowledge is about to cost people a lot of money or make other people incredibly wealthy, depending on which side of the information they're standing on. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Owning gold or silver does not automatically protect you. I'll explain why in a moment, but first, you need to understand something deeper about how these markets actually work, because almost nobody teaches this part. Picture a giant warehouse. Now imagine that warehouse has promised to deliver 1,000 boxes of gold and silver to people who paid for them. But inside that warehouse, there's only 100 boxes physically sitting there. The rest exist only on paper, as promises, as contracts, as numbers in a computer system. For decades, this system worked fine because almost nobody actually asked for their physical boxes. People were happy holding the paper promise. But what happens when, suddenly, a lot of people start asking for the real thing at the same time? That's the situation slowly building right now in the gold and silver markets, and most casual investors have no idea it's happening. This is where Priya comes into the story. Priya works as a school teacher, and like a lot of people watching this right now, she started investing in silver because she heard it was the poor man's gold, a way for regular people to get into precious metals without needing thousands of dollars. She bought steadily for over a year. But what Priya didn't realize is that the price she was paying on the screen and the actual physical metal sitting somewhere in a vault are becoming two very different things. And that gap between paper price and physical reality is exactly where the next major shock is going to come from. But what happened next changed everything for people paying close attention. Large industrial buyers, the companies that actually need real physical silver for solar panels, electric vehicles, and advanced electronics, started quietly pulling metal out of major storage facilities. Not in small amounts, in amounts large enough that warehouse inventories that used to feel endless started shrinking month after month. Most people scrolling through their phones never saw this story. It didn't trend. It didn't get pushed to the top of anyone's feed. But the people who did notice it started positioning themselves very differently than everyone else. And this is exactly where most people fail, without even realizing it. They think investing is just about buying the asset and waiting. They don't realize that the real wealth shifts happen in the gap between what the public understands and what is actually happening behind the scenes. By the time something becomes common knowledge, by the time it's all over the news and everyone's talking about it, the biggest part of the opportunity is already gone. The early movers already made their gains. The latecomers are the ones left holding the bag, buying at the top, panicking at the bottom. Let's talk about Sana for a moment, because her story is one that a lot of you are going to recognize in yourselves. Sana is a young professional, smart, hardworking, makes a decent salary. She watched dozens of videos about silver being undervalued, about the gold to silver ratio being historically stretched, about how silver has, throughout history, traded much closer to gold in value than it does today. She understood the theory. She nodded along. But she never acted with conviction. She bought a tiny amount, just enough to say she got in, and then she went back to scrolling, back to her normal life, treating her investment like a lottery ticket instead of understanding it as a position inside a much bigger, slower-moving storm. Here's something most people never realize. The relationship between gold and silver isn't random. Historically, it has moved in cycles, sometimes silver trading at a ratio of 30 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold, other times stretching to ratios far beyond that. When that ratio gets extremely stretched, like a rubber band pulled too far, history shows it tends to snap back hard. And when it snaps, silver often moves faster and further than gold itself, percentage-wise. This isn't speculation or hype. It's a pattern that has repeated again and again across different decades, different economic crises, different generations of investors, who all learned the same lesson the hard way. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people will not be ready when that snap happens, because being ready isn't about knowing the theory. It's about having already made your decision, already taken your position, already understood your own plan long before the moment actually arrives. Sana knew the theory. She just never turned it into a real decision. And when these moves happen, they often happen fast, over weeks, sometimes over days, not slowly giving everyone a comfortable window to react. Let me introduce you to Raza now, because his story shows the other side of this coin. Raza is a small business owner, not wealthy, not a finance expert, but a man who pays close attention to patterns. A couple of years ago, he noticed something that most people brushed past completely. Central banks, the institutions that manage entire countries' money supplies, started buying gold in record amounts, year after year, at a pace not seen in generations. He didn't need a finance degree to ask the obvious question, why would the most powerful financial institutions in the world be quietly stacking gold at record levels if everything in the global monetary system was perfectly fine? I'll explain this in a moment, but first you need to understand something deeper about why this matters so much. For decades, much of the global financial system has run on trust in a single dominant currency, used for trade, for reserves, for settling debts between nations. But that trust has been quietly cracking. Countries representing a huge portion of the global economy have been actively working to reduce their dependence on that single currency, building new payment systems, making direct trade deals in their own currencies, and yes, buying gold as a foundation for that shift. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's a documented, ongoing trend, and gold is sitting right at the center of it. And nobody talks about this part enough. When trust in paper money systems weakens at the level of entire nations, it doesn't just affect governments and banks. It eventually reaches down into the daily life of every regular person, into the value of their savings, their retirement accounts, the price they pay for groceries, the interest rate on their loans. Raza understood this instinctively. He started building his position in both gold and silver steadily, not emotionally, not based on headlines, but based on this slow, undeniable shift he could see happening in real time. While Sana hesitated, Raza committed. The difference between them today is not luck. It's the gap between understanding something and actually acting on it. This is where everything changes for the people watching this video right now. Because you have two paths in front of you, just like Tariq, Priya, Sana, and Raza did. You can keep treating precious metals like a side hobby, something you dabble in without really understanding, hoping it works out because you heard it was safe. Or you can actually understand what's happening beneath the surface and position yourself with real conviction, the same way Raza did before the rest of the world catches on. Let's go deeper into why physical supply matters so much more than most investors realize. Every single day, silver is being used up permanently in industries that cannot function without it. Solar panel manufacturing alone consumes a staggering and growing amount of silver every single year, because silver is one of the best conductors of electricity known to humanity, and there is currently no cheap, scalable replacement for it in that role. Electric vehicles use significantly more silver per unit than traditional gasoline cars in their electrical systems and battery components. The expansion of artificial intelligence infrastructure, data centers, advanced semiconductors, all of it relies on components that use silver in ways most people never think about when they imagine high-tech industries. Here's what makes this different from almost any other commodity story you've heard before. Most of that industrial silver is gone forever once it's used. It's not like gold, which mostly gets stored, recycled, and reused in jewelry and bars. A huge portion of industrial silver ends up in tiny amounts inside electronics and solar panels, all in quantities so small that recycling it becomes economically unrealistic. Year after year, more silver gets pulled out of the ground, used once, and effectively removed from the available supply forever, while industrial demand keeps climbing because of the very technologies the entire world is racing to build. But what happened next changed everything for the handful of people tracking warehouse data closely. Reports started surfacing of unusually long wait times for large institutional buyers trying to take physical delivery of silver and gold contracts, far longer than historical norms. Some of the largest, most watched storage facilities in the world began showing visibly declining inventories over consecutive months. None of this made front-page news. It moved through specialized financial circles, through people who actually dig into the data instead of just reading headlines. And by the time something like this does become front-page news, it's usually because the shift has already started happening, not because it's about to happen. Let me bring Marcus and Daniel into this story for a moment, because their experience captures something incredibly important about psychology and money. Marcus is the kind of investor who needs everything confirmed before he acts. He waits for the news to be undeniable, for everyone around him to agree, for the price to already be moving before he feels comfortable putting his money in. Daniel, on the other hand, learned a hard lesson years earlier during a different financial event, that by the time something feels completely safe and obvious to everyone, the best part of the opportunity has usually already passed. Daniel positions himself based on patterns and fundamentals, not comfort. Marcus positions himself based on certainty and crowd confirmation. Historically, across almost every major market shift in history, it has been the Daniels of the world who benefited the most, and the Marcuses who bought in late, often near the peak, right when the crowd finally got loud enough to convince him it was safe. This is the uncomfortable mirror this video is asking you to look into. Are you more like Marcus, waiting for permission from the crowd before you act? Or are you willing to actually study the pattern now, while it's still quiet, while most people are still scrolling past it without a second thought? Let's talk about something most people completely misunderstand about the COMEX, the major exchange where so many gold and silver contracts get traded and settled. The vast majority of contracts on this exchange are never intended to result in actual physical delivery. They're financial instruments, paper promises, traded back and forth for profit, settled in cash rather than real metal. This works fine, day after day, as long as only a small percentage of contract holders ever actually demand the physical metal behind their paper position. But every so often, in markets like this, a moment arrives where a noticeably larger percentage of holders decide they want the real thing, not the paper promise. And when that happens, even slightly more than usual, it can create visible pressure on physical inventories, pressure that doesn't show up immediately in the headline price, but shows up very clearly to anyone watching delivery data and vault reports closely. I'll explain this part now, because it directly connects to why timing matters so much more than most people assume. There have been specific windows, specific delivery periods throughout recent history where the gap between paper contracts and available physical metal becomes unusually visible. During these windows, premiums on physical silver, meaning the actual extra amount people pay above the official spot price to get real coins and bars in their hands, have spiked noticeably. This is the market quietly telling you something the official price chart doesn't fully reflect, that physical scarcity and paper price are not always perfectly in sync, and when they separate enough, it tends to resolve in dramatic, fast-moving ways. But here's the part that should genuinely concern every single person watching this who already owns gold or silver and thinks they're simply set. Owning the asset is not the same as understanding the moment you're living through. Tariq owns silver coins, but he doesn't understand the supply story. Priya owns silver, but she doesn't understand the difference between paper price and physical reality. Sana understood the theory, but never acted with conviction. Only Raza, the one who studied the pattern, watched the data, and committed with understanding rather than hope, is actually positioned to benefit from what's coming, rather than be blindsided by it. And this is exactly where most investors fail without even realizing it, again and again, across every single market cycle in history. They confuse owning an asset with understanding an asset. They confuse hope with strategy. They confuse "I bought some" with "I'm prepared." Real preparation means understanding why you own something, what specific conditions would make it move dramatically, and having already decided in advance how you'll react when those conditions start appearing, instead of trying to figure it out in a panic when prices are already moving fast and emotions are already running high. Think about your own situation honestly for a moment. If silver or gold prices moved significantly higher over the next few months, would you actually know what to do? Would you understand whether to hold, to add more, to take some profit? Or would you be like most people, frozen, scrolling through panicked comment sections, trying to piece together a strategy in real time while the moment is already happening around you? That discomfort you might be feeling right now, that's not a bad thing. That's the exact discomfort that separates people who prepare in advance from people who react too late. Here's the deeper truth this video has been building toward this entire time. What's coming next in gold and silver markets isn't really about a single dramatic event, a single headline, a single price spike. It's about a slow building pressure between a financial system increasingly dependent on paper promises and a physical reality of shrinking industrial supply, aggressive central bank buying, and a world quietly losing some of its trust in old monetary assumptions. That pressure doesn't resolve gently. Throughout history, it resolves in sharp, fast, often disorienting moves that catch the unprepared completely off guard, while rewarding the people who understood the setup long before it became obvious to everyone else. This is where everything changes, right now, for you specifically. You've just spent close to 20 minutes learning what most gold and silver owners will never bother to understand. You now know the difference between owning an asset and understanding an asset. You know why industrial demand quietly eats away at available supply every single year. You know why central banks buying gold at record levels isn't just a headline, it's a signal about the foundation of the entire system shifting. You know why the gap between paper contracts and physical delivery matters more than most price charts ever show you. And most importantly, you know that the people who benefit the most from moments like this are never the ones who wait for certainty. They're the ones who study the pattern quietly while everyone else is still scrolling past it. So here is your decision moment, the same one Tariq, Priya, Sana, and Raza each faced in their own way. You can close this video, go back to your day, and let this information fade into the background like just another video you watched. Or you can actually sit with what you just learned, Look honestly at your own financial preparation and decide right now whether you're going to be someone who understands the moment you're living through or someone who simply hopes things work out. The metal in your hand, or the metal you're thinking about buying, was never the real asset. Your understanding is the real asset. And understanding, unlike price, is something nobody can take away from you once you actually have it. Let's go back to Tariq for a moment, because his story isn't finished yet, and it shouldn't be finished for you either. After learning about the gap between paper promises and physical supply, Tariq did something simple but powerful. He stopped buying randomly and started buying with a plan. He set a fixed amount each month. He learned the difference between buying coins with heavy premiums and buying more efficient forms of silver. And most importantly, he stopped checking the price every single day like it was a game. He started treating it like what it actually is, a long-term position built on understanding, not a lottery ticket built on hope. That single shift in mindset, from gambler to informed owner, is available to absolutely everyone watching this video right now, including you. There's another layer to this story that almost nobody talks about, and it has to do with how slowly real change actually feels while you're living through it. And when people imagine a major shift in gold and silver markets, they imagine something dramatic and obvious, like a single morning where everything suddenly explodes upward. But that's rarely how it actually happens. It happens in stages. First, a quiet accumulation phase, where informed buyers like Raza position themselves while almost nobody is paying attention. Then, a recognition phase, where more and more people start noticing the same signals, premiums rising, inventories shrinking, central banks buying. Then, often much later, a mainstream phase, where the story finally hits major headlines, and the people who waited for that confirmation rush in all at once, often at much higher prices than the early movers paid. Understanding which phase you're currently living through is far more valuable than any single price prediction anyone could give you. Think about Priya again, and what she could do differently starting today. She doesn't need to panic. She doesn't need to dump her entire savings into metal overnight. What she needs is exactly what this video just gave you. A framework for understanding why she owns what she owns and what signals would tell her the situation is intensifying. That might mean watching delivery data instead of just the spot price. That might mean paying attention to central bank buying reports instead of social media hype. It might simply mean recognizing that physical premiums spiking during specific delivery windows is not random noise. It's the market quietly revealing stress that the headline number is hiding. And this brings us back to Sana, the one who understood the theory perfectly, but never acted with real conviction. The lesson from her story isn't that she made some terrible mistake. It's that knowledge without action is just entertainment. You can watch 100 videos about the gold to silver ratio, about central bank buying, about industrial demand, and if you never translate that knowledge into an actual decision, a real plan, a real position, sized appropriately for your own life and risk tolerance, then all that knowledge changes absolutely nothing about your financial future. The market doesn't reward people for knowing things. It rewards people for acting on what they know, before everyone else knows it too. This video is for educational purposes only, and is not financial advice. Always do your own research and consider speaking with a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions. If you learned something new today, make sure to subscribe to Money Insights and like this video. More powerful financial truths are coming next.